G'day and welcome to this week's video. This week we're going to talk about the superannuation law reforms that have just been passed through the government. Yesterday, the 23rd of November, the superannuation law reform was introduced to Parliament and was passed without really any issues at all. So a lot of these changes are going to come into effect from the most part from the 1st of July 2017. So I thought we'd just do a quick run through. We have spoken a lot about this in the past, but now each video I've done in the past we stipulated that it hadn't actually gone through yet, but now it has. So one of the key elements to the changes is that they've introduced a $1.6 million transfer balance cap, and this limits the amount of money you can have in the retirement phase or in pension mode, where the earnings within that fund in that pension mode is tax free. So this will apply to existing funds. So people that have over $1.6 million as an individual will need to make some changes. There's going to be the reduction in the concessional contributions cap. For those that are 50 and above, it's currently $35,000. For those 49 below, it is $30,000. It's now going to be a flat $25,000 per taxpayer. They're also going to provide the ability for people to catch up with their concessional contributions. So if you have an account balance under $500,000, you are eligible to put in 5 lots of $25,000. So that might be handy for people with broken work patterns, or have sold a small business and have ploughed all their money back into that small business rather than putting money into superannuation. This is a very good rule where they've allowing people to make personal contributions without taking into account the 10% rule. So it means that people that are previously that have been employed, they get 10% or more of their earnings from that employment regime, not as a self-employed person. Those people had to make a salary sacrifice to make extra concessional contributions above their employer contributions. Now you can make a personal contribution without having to be self-employed, so that's very positive. The non-concessional contributions, so the amount of money you can put into superannuation, is going to come down from $180,000 to $100,000. So this was the watered down amendment that they made, where they were going to put a lifetime limit of $500,000 of non-concessional caps. So they've changed that. We now have this $100,000. We still have the ability to bring 2 years forward and put in $300,000 in 1 year. So still a fair bit of flexibility there. They've introduced the low-income superannuation tax offset. So that'll mean people that are just small changes. The way this will work is really just a change in the really the terms of what this tax offset is called. It's making sure that people get a rebate back of their superannuation contributions tax, the 15% on low income. So still benefit there, and it's up to about $500. They're increasing the threshold for the spouse tax offset. Was always that $10,800. That is now going right up to $37,000. So for those people's spouses can make a contribution into their spouse's superannuation fund of $3,000, and if they now earn from the 1st of July under $37,000, the person making the contribution, an after-tax contribution to their spouse's super fund, will get an 18% tax rebate. So that's $540, which is well worth chasing. Anti-detriment payment are going to be abolished, and that's where if you were to pass away, that the government would refund back the 15% contributions tax you paid over your lifetime. That is now going to be gone. For those that are currently in a transition to retirement strategy, where you're still currently working and receiving a pension from your superannuation funds, at the moment the income that is earned by those pension assets is taxed at 0. Well, while you're still working, that's now going to be taxed at 15%. So some of the benefits of a transition to retirement strategy is going to be gone, and we may need to relook at that strategy and see if it's still worthwhile. And lastly, an adjustment to the Div 293. So for those that are earning over 300,000 at the moment, they don't pay 15% on their superannuation contributions. They will pay up to 30%. That has now been lowered from 300,000 down to 250,000. So these are very significant changes. I still remember the simpler superannuation laws that were brought in many years ago to make this system simpler. It's never happened, and this proves that it probably never will happen. It's extremely complex and really does change the playing field. Superannuation is still a very positive place to be. To think that you can still have $1.6 million, completely tax-free inside the fund and tax-free out, payable to the pensioner is still a great carrot and still something is well worth chasing. So I hope this was helpful. This is obviously new news, thank you for listening. As always, there's some resources down below us on self-managed superannuation funds you might be interested in. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so, and just for fun, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.